I'm making this short and making this sweet. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is a movie that I felt absolutely nothing while watching it. This movie is just forced nostalgia, and it retcons and does things that makes the Disney trilogy seem even more worse than what it was to begin with. I'm gonna do my positives out of the way now. The acting in this movie is overall solid. I thought everyone did an okay job. The return of Billy D. Williams and Ian McDermott. It was fun seeing them come back as Lando and the Emperor respectively. It was as a fan cool to see those characters. What they did story wise, really stupid. The action sequences, for the most part, they're all well done. I think they're all well shot. I think J.J. Abrams is a very, very talented and competent director behind the camera. I like his visual style, and he does try to give this movie a grand spectacle. I like the look of the new planets that we were introduced to, like Kujimi and Exegol, which is the Sith homeworld. I like the look of Exegol; it has a very gothic, grimy look to it. Um, so yeah, those are pretty much the only good things I have to say about this movie. Uh, let's get on to the negatives. Here we go. So I had mentioned that I did not like the use of Palpatine and Lando in this movie. Let me explain why. First off, what is the reason for Palpatine even still being alive? To me, Palpatine's death should have been definitive at the end of Return of the Jedi. Him being alive completely undercuts the story of Luke and Darth Vader and the struggle they went through in the original trilogy. Just by this man being alive, I don't care if they establish the fact that he can cheat death. I don't care. That does not do, and that means absolutely nothing to me. From a storyline perspective, Palpatine shouldn't be alive. This movie should have been Rey and Kylo Ren as a power couple taking over the galaxy. But you didn't do that with The Last Jedi, so now you gotta retcon everything and bring back a legacy character just to shut up fans just to shut up the fans that you pissed off with the last movie. And you gotta force back Palpatine for no reason. Oh, because you allowed Rain Johnson to kill off Snoke in Last Jedi. And in this movie, you further bury the character of Snoke by saying that he was just a creation of Palpatine. I do not like what they did with Palpatine in this movie. Again, I like Ian McDermott. It was fun seeing the character back from nostalgic reasons, but from an overall story perspective, garbage. Absolutely garbage. Lando Calrissian, you could have taken him out of this movie and it still would have been the same thing. He adds absolutely nothing. Was it cool seeing Billy D. Williams come back as the character and seeing him interact with Chewie again? Absolutely. It was fun. But what did he bring to the story? Nothing at all. You see him in the middle, and then he comes back in the end, and that's it. Speaking of which, the whole structure of this movie is The Last Jedi, but it's The Last Jedi done wrong. The Last Jedi had things happen in it that led to the epic battle. This movie just has these characters going from planet to planet, just doing random bullshit, killing time to get to the last half of this movie, which is pretty much where they end up on Endor, just like in just like in Return of the Jedi. But prior to that, it's a whole lot of nothing happening, a whole lot of stupid fake outs happening. You do a fake out Chewie death, which means absolutely nothing. You do a fake out with 3PO losing his memory just to have him get his memory back at the end of the movie. What was the reason of all these things? I do not know. You got this whole subplot with General Hux being the mole for the Resistance, all because it kind of sort of makes sense since Hux didn't like Kylo Ren to begin with. But as quick as Hux is revealed as the mole, he gets killed off within a matter of seconds. What was the point? Absolutely nothing. Speaking of Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren is the most annoying character ever put on screen in a Star Wars movie next to Rey. I only I don't know which one I hate. I don't know which character I hate the most, Ren or Kylo Ray. I'm sorry, Ren or Rey. I don't know which one I don't like the most. Kylo Ray from Force Awakens had interest to me. Was interesting character. Him killing Han and what could happen was cool. What they did with him on Last Jedi was ugh. And what they did with him in this movie is just even more ugh. I don't know what it is with these people. Why can't they just create? Why can't they make this Kylo Ren character good? From the moment you introduced him, you established the fact that he had conflict within him, and I did not even, and I really didn't care for that. Last Jedi, you see him doing just stuff, and in this movie, he's still trying to seduce Rey after she turned him down, which should have never happened in the Last Jedi because Rey should have joined him. That was the only way to salvage her character, whose character still sucks in this movie. I don't care if she is Palpatine's granddaughter. She does not deserve to have any link to the legacy characters because she is not a good character to herself. She is horrible. And Kylo Ren is a character that has so much potential, but you just don't want to utilize the potential. And to me, I think Adam Driver is giving a performance that is really, really good, but he's completely being underutilized storyline-wise. And I just don't like what they do with Ren, I'm sorry. I mean, I kind of like what they did with Ren at the end when he sees Han Solo and he pretty much abandons being Kylo Ren, and he goes back to being Ben Solo again. I thought that was pretty cool. Like his redemption arc was complete, but it was very sloppy to begin with, and it was kind of muddled for him to get back to the point of being Ben Solo again, with he and Rey teaming up to take down Palpatine at the end of the movie. This movie tries to cram so much stuff down your throat, and it doesn't know how to space anything out. It just going and going and going and going and going and going and going. It's retconning and over-explaining things, and it's undercutting things that happened in the last two movies. It's undercutting the entire saga as a whole. Just by having one character be alive, you completely undercut what Luke and Vader went through in Return of the Jedi, just to beat this man. And again, you just have these characters doing absolutely nothing. You have these fake outs that mean absolutely nothing. That's the problem with with the Rise of Skywalker. It's a movie that tries to do so much and yet accomplishes so little, and I am not satisfied with this movie. The ending did not satisfy me at all. Listen, going back to Tatooine and seeing the Force ghosts of Luke and Leia and the double sunset, that was cool for me. Having Rey have the nerve to call herself a Skywalker, that doesn't jive with me. She does not deserve to be called a Skywalker because her character sucks. Her character absolutely sucks. I hate the character of Rey. She is god awful. Horribly, sloppily written. Your one chance to make her remotely interesting, you failed to capitalize that on Last Jedi, and you failed to do anything to make me want to like her in this movie. Making her Palpatine does nothing for me. Having her adopt the Skywalker name does nothing for me. The character does nothing for me. Characters like Finn and Poe, those characters I like. But in this movie, as like the last movie, they do absolutely nothing. Yeah, the climactic final order scene is fun. It's a good space battle, but it's a rehash of a much better space battle with Return of the Jedi, which felt like it had much more higher stakes. It had much more dire stakes. The stakes in this movie, they fell flat to me. I didn't care when I was watching it. And that's the problem with The Rise of Skywalker, is that I just don't care. I really don't care. I prefer The Last Jedi over this movie. The Last Jedi may not be perfect, but it had things that I legitimately liked about it. This movie has very few things that I like about it. I don't necessarily curse the ground that it walks on, but people say that there's superhero fatigue going on. I'm sorry. I think Star Wars fatigue is a much better expression, because this movie, at the end of the day, it shows just how much, it just shows that it was forced and that it was retcon, and that, yeah, this is an apology, but it's a really half-hearted apology that is very insincere. And that's why it pains me to give The Rise of Skywalker a 4 out of 10. It has good things that I like in it, as very little as it is, but everything else, I just don't care. And for a Star Wars movie to make me say I don't care, that's a shame. Because to be honest with you, at least people hate on the prequel trilogy, but at least George Lucas had a clear vision when he did the prequels. I don't know the vision of the Disney trilogy, and I am glad that it's over. 4 out of 10 for The Rise of Skywalker. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.